Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Taft City Council / successor agency for Tuesday, April the 4th, 2017. If you would and have not already, please silence your phones so that we don't have to listen to those ringtones during the course of this evening's activities. We're going to begin this evening with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Orson Cryer and an invocation from Heather Mueller with the St. Andrew's Episcopal Church.
Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think it's appropriate that we remember a couple things tonight. First of all, today is the Equal Pay for Women Day. So it's really good that Renee gets the same pay that you guys do.
It's more than I do.
It's also the anniversary of the martyrdom or the killing of Martin Luther King Jr. So let us pray. Almighty and eternal God, source of all the goodness and all the bounty in this beautiful world that you have created, we come together this night celebrating the gifts in Taft, the gifts of volunteers, so many organizations that work to benefit and support the people in this community. We thank you especially tonight for our council and the work that they do, the offerings that they make, and the staff and the others who help and support the issues in our community. And dear Lord, we remember Martin Luther King and the work that he did, the commitment he had to justice and fairness for all people. And most of all, we thank you for your presence, your spirit, as we now move toward Palm Sunday and Easter and the great celebrations of our year. We thank you for the power of your presence and your Holy Spirit as it winds around us and over us and through us and under us and can guide us to do your will. We ask and pray in your most holy name. Amen.
Thank you very much. All right, Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Knorr.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hill.
Here.
Councilmember Bryant.
Here.
Councilmember Cryer.
Here.
Councilmember Miller.
Here.
All right, everybody's present and accounted for. First item on this evening's agenda is a proclamation, DMV Donate Life California Month in Kern County. I have asked that Councilman Miller present this. As a part of the proclamation, you will hear that there's a need for some 600,000 units of blood. Councilman Miller is a member of the 10-Gallon Club. He has been giving life for quite some time. So I would ask that he read the proclamation. If you would, please, sir.
Thank you very much. And it's something taken quite a long time, because that's 80 pints. But it's something that's needed and it's easy to do, and I wish more people would donate blood when we can. Proclamation from the City of Taft declaring April 2017 DMV Donate Life California Month in Kern County. Whereas organ, tissue, marrow, and blood donation are life-giving acts recognized worldwide as expressions of compassion to those in need, and whereas more than 118,000 individuals nationwide and more than 21,000 in California are currently on the National Organ Transplant Waiting List, and on average 22 people die each day while waiting due to the shortage of donated organs. And whereas one organ donor can save the lives up to 8 people by donating their heart, lungs, kidneys, liver, pancreas, and small intestines. And whereas a living donor can provide a kidney or a portion of their liver, lung, pancreas, or intestine, and whereas more than 600,000 units of blood per year are needed to meet the need in California. And whereas California residents can sign up with the Donate Life California Donor Registry when applying for or renewing their driver's licenses or ID cards at the California Department of Motor Vehicles. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Taft does hereby join other cities in proclaiming the month of April 2017 as DMV Donate Life Month in Kern County. Dated this 4th day of April 2017, signed by Mayor Dave Knorr and the other council people. We have with us tonight Chuck Pruitt with the DMV. And Chuck, come on down. I'll meet you up there. Have you come to the podium there? Yeah. Thank you for coming on here. So we'd like to present this to you, and we'll proudly join in with the DMV on this project.
Well, thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Miller, Mayor Knorr, and council members and city officials. On behalf of Donate Life America, California, and myself and my family, as a recipient of a transplant, I would like to say thank you for your consideration with this, and it's very, very appreciated. Council Member Miller, in reading the proclamation, was correct that there are 22 people that die every day because they don't receive a transplant that they so desperately need. I was one of the very fortunate ones to actually receive a new organ. And I would invite you all to, if you're not already, to register as donors. You can, if you don't register at the DMV, you can register at donatelifecalifornia.org. And in addition, on April 29th, Donate Life is having a run walk in honor of donors and their families and people that have received organs. And I'd like to invite you all and anyone you know to join the group and participate in the run walk. It's at Cal State Fullerton, like I said, on Saturday, April 29th. And I've got a few goodies for you guys. I'm a couple of short to cover everybody, but I've got the council and the clerk there covered.
That would be great. We're real good about sharing things like this.
We love
Darnell there.
Here you go. There's a bag of things that you can share them. You can have these too and spread them around. There's cards in there for you to register. You can use to sign up for registering. When you're done, you can pass it on to someone else for them to register.
All right.
We appreciate it, and thank you very much, and hope you'll be back next year.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're glad you're still around here, that you were one of the fortunate recipients, and I'm sure your family's glad you are too.
Oh, very much so.
Might show everybody on the driver's license, it's a little red dot that you get put on your driver's license, and it says donor. Because, you know, unfortunately, when things happen, one of the first things they do is try to identify you, and they do that through your driver's license mostly. And if that red dot is on there, then that says that you've already said that you would make your organs available. So,
And I'd like to emphasize,
simple to do.
expand on that a little bit. If you're in the hospital and in that condition, you know, nobody wishes that, but they don't look at your license to see if you're a donor while they're treating you or before you're treating you. That only comes into play after you've already been declared brain dead or cardiac death has been declared. Then they'll look to see if you're a donor. They will treat you to the fullest extent possible. They don't want to just take your organs.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Are they restrictive as they do at the blood bank? Because I've given blood, but then there's been quite a few occasions where I go to give blood, and they ask, which country you been to? I name off the country. They say, well, sorry, you can't give blood until so many years pass or whatever. How they get the organs or blood on the DMV part?
Well, you go to all those bad countries.
Actually, no, they're not. If you're a patient that has something, for instance, a hepatitis C, as an example, they will take an organ that has from a hepatitis patient and implant it in another hepatitis patient. It's called a high-risk transplant, and then after you heal from the transplant, from the surgery, then they'll treat the hepatitis, for instance.
So they were about the mad cow disease we're concerned about.
Well, would only
Zika
affect your brain. Now, there's a lot of things that don't come into play like that. That they're actually advancing on those fronts now, where they use like what they consider high-risk organs. I'm kind of awkward at this because this is the first time I've actually done this. I just recently joined One Legacy, and I was compelled to, as a way of honoring my donor.
I wish they would do the same thing with at Houchin, because if you can take the blood, they can always test it if they're had concerns about it. Because I know I feel like I'm real healthy. I don't know I can catch anything. Eating bad meat or getting some bug or what you want to call it. But I think they can go ahead and they can take your blood and then maybe put off to the side and maybe do their little test, and then if it passes it, go ahead and use it.
I don't know about anything about blood donation, really. I know it's very restrictive, and I do know that when I was, before my transplant and in the week or two afterwards, I received somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 units of whole blood and plasma products.
Wow.
It's amazing.
And that really kept me alive.
That means 200 people kept you alive.
Yes.
That's right.
Probably more than 200, considering the plasma that I got too. And they were pumping them both in.
And that's only for one person, and that's why it's needed for people to donate blood, because you never know when that situation will come up.
It's really a lifesaver. The trouble is, it doesn't keep very long. They have to continuously restock the supplies. But everybody, I just want to encourage you to go to DonateLifeCalifornia.org or the OneLegacy.org website and learn more about.
And everybody should also get a will.
Yeah.
And part of that will is a directive, a medical directive, to where you can lay out how you want to be treated in case of a medical emergency, and parts and pieces that you would like to donate or whatever, or give permission,
and make sure you let your family know what your wishes are too.
Yeah.
They're the ones that'll actually be handling all the paperwork.
It has to be written down. So unfortunately, the medical directive is something that everybody should be aware of, and it's easy to get a will made up, and I don't believe they're all that expensive, and probably can do some of that online. You just need to get it notarized, and part of that would be the medical directive too.
It's really important.
Makes it a lot easier.
When I was incapacitated, I couldn't sign anything, and my wife probably signed a stack of forms 4 inches tall for me. We both, my wife was born here in Taft, and I've lived most of my life here. We live in Bakersfield now, but she was, like I said, she was born here at West Side Hospital.
Well, you're welcome back.
All the doctors are over there, except for the ones in LA now.
Okay.
Well, thank you. Like I said, thank you again. I appreciate this, and it's a real honor to be here.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you for coming and talking to us.
You're
Thank you very
welcome,
much, sir. All right, that's a real eye-opener. That's something I have to put on my list of things to do. Very important. Next up, item number 2, citizens request public comments. I would read all this, but we have none this evening, so we're going to move forward.
She's got one right there.
I beg your pardon?
Excuse me, my name is Barbara Scriver, and Orchel invited me to come down here and speak.
Okay, hang on just a second. I'm sorry, there was nobody signed up.
Oh, sorry.
So I didn't read. So let me read this part,
Okay.
and then we'll move into that.
Okay.
Okay, this is the time and place for the general public to address the city council on matters within its jurisdiction. State law prohibits the council from addressing any issue not previously included on the agenda. Council may receive comment and set the matter for a subsequent meeting. Please limit comments to 5 minutes. So if you would tell us, please, ma'am, your name and address for the record.
Okay, my name is Barbara Scriver. I live at 301 F Street in Taft. I am also a Taft resident, born at Westside Hospital, delivered by Dr. Bitzer. And I'm here tonight on behalf of Taft's Relay for Life event. I am the Bring the People lead. Our relay is May 20th. We are 12 hours from 10 to 10, and we're at Taft Union High School. They are gracious enough to donate their facilities, so they are now a Relife school. They're Relay for Life school. They're designated as such. And the reason I'm here tonight is to ask the city council and the city employees to come out and support us with our cause. And we're having several different fundraisers throughout between now and 6 weeks. So if you see us selling something or passing a purple bucket, we'd appreciate you maybe dropping a couple of dollars in, a quarter, whatever, because it all adds up. And our monies go for research, and we research all cancers. We're global. We have programs. We just have a new sponsorship, a new partnership with Marriott Hotels, which is beneficial for the people of Taft. We also have one with extended stay. So if you have to go to Bakersfield and stay for, a couple of nights, give us a call, the 1-800 number, give them a call. They can get you a room for a couple of nights for free, so you don't have to drive back and forth after having chemo. So there's the different programs like that. That's what we're raising our monies for. We're also, I know that several of you have businesses. Would you like to, going to hit you up. We have business card ads for our program. They're $100. That way it's good advertisement that you're supporting this in your community. We also sell luminarias, which you can do to honor and remember your lost ones, which is really a really significant ceremony. And we also have sponsorships. And I know that as a council, you cannot do that, but individually as business owners or together privately, you could. And $500 sponsorship gets you in our program on the back of our shirt, which is given out to people who join the Hope Club. That's $100 raised. And you get a sign and you get an acknowledgement. You get a special thing.
All right.
This is only my second presentation today, and it's a good acknowledgement. And this is a community event. Like I say, I was born and raised in this community, and I am a cancer survivor. And so my whole push behind it becoming involved is to make sure no one and nobody else's family has to go through what mine has gone through. I was diagnosed 10 days after my grandmother died. She died from leukemia. I lost my grandfather to lung cancer. I lost an uncle to colon cancer just a year ago. My aunt has breast cancer. So, it has totally almost gone through both sides of my family. When I was diagnosed, we had to pull my daughter out of school. There's all kinds of resources that I wasn't aware of, but now I am. And as soon as I find out someone has been diagnosed with cancer, I start giving them names and numbers, and you ask for this and you ask for that, because those are all available for free from the monies that we raise during our events. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very worthy cause. And once again, everybody, that's May the 20th. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
Except for, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. the following day, or 10 a.m. until 10
We're
p.m.?
only 12 hours this year, as we were last year. So it's from 10 a.m. We start at 10 a.m. and we go to 10 p.m.
Thank you.
And we have 24 teams registered this year.
Wow.
So if you're not on a team and want to be on a team, Heather is looking for people. I have a team. Heather's is Stepping Out in Faith, and mine is Cancer Crush. The Seroptimus and the Taft and Midway Lions are the only two service clubs that have a team.
All right.
How many people is in it consider a team?
Just go online and register. And
How many people to a team?
you can have up to 15, and that qualifies as one team. And so we have the Westside Healthcare District, the urgent care. They have Team 1 and Team 2 because they have almost 30 people. And so they're going to get 2 campsites. The Seroptimus always ends up with 2 teams. so they get 2 campsites. Torrance Logistics is a new company. They used to be ExxonMobil's TLC. They have 2 teams. So because they all have almost 30 people registered.
I'll make a challenge to the council here. We all be on a team together.
You guys could all be on one team.
We sure could do some walking around the
And
drive.
you can have, some of the teams are already having fundraisers. I've already had Page Nights type of deal. Some of the teams are only going to do their fundraising at the event by selling food and things like that. So there's all different kinds of. It's not too late to sign up.
All right, thank you very much for bringing that to the council. Were there any other questions, Darby?
No, no questions.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, next item on the agenda, council statements, non-action. Councilman Cryer, we'll begin with you.
Well, thank you. I do a lot of traveling and stuff, so I have a lot of time listening to radio, especially just on long distance and stuff. And I understand our governor wants to raise $50+ billion a year for our roads and stuff. And it's calling our taxes on our gas and registering our vehicles, and also people who are trying to go green, trying to save for the environment, quote unquote, they have to pay a tax too, from $100 to $200 for each vehicle that's green. To me, I think I'm against that for several reasons. One is that you're taking money away from people, especially this time we're going through, being the highest tax state in the nation. That's money for us to buy things, whether buy things for our loved ones or for our children or go out for dinner. It's disposable income for us. Our quality of life is lessened every time the government raise funds and stuff in order to fix a problem that they created. We had 2 propositions, Proposition 42 and Proposition 1A. All the money is supposed to go to the roads. The caveat is that in case of a fiscal emergency, they can use that money, go to the general fund. Well, so they did. They passed a proposition, money was supposed to go to the roads, and it didn't happen. They pulled the money out and went to different things than the state. And so the roads aren't getting fixed. We have the worst roads in our state here, in the country, because it went to other programs instead of where it's intended to be. And I just feel that this new tax that they're proposing is to do the same thing. It might work out for 1 year, then also 2 years. They're going to add a caveat and go to some other program, high-speed rail or some other boondoggle thing that doesn't do anything to better our quality of life. And so I just say that we should all not support that new proposal the governor's trying to do. If they really want to take care of the roads, they can go ahead and pull from other programs in the state. But too, it's like they're trying to make the state now a sanctuary state. They're going to spend $20 million to help people who have been here illegally. That could go to programs. They hired Eric Holder to go ahead and fight Trump. Well, what's that going to cost us? All these different programs they have, instead of working and finding other areas and pulling money from to go to the roads and stuff, they're just it's not going to the right places. I just think we need to take a stand and not support it. And that's where I stand on that. Another thing too, thank you, Heather, for about Martin Luther King deal. That's a great deal. But a lot of people don't realize that Martin Luther King was a Republican. Very, very few people know about that. And he also likes weapons. He tried to get, unfortunately, he tried to get a gun permit at CCW, but apparently the governor there didn't feel like he should have one, and shortly afterwards he got assassinated. A lot of little tidbits that people don't know about how great that person was. He did in his life that was very, very conservative, and he helped the government in some other things that bring out what's going on in our country that people don't realize. But he was more than just a freedom fighter and trying for the rights for the minority. He has a lot more to that gentleman, and he's very deserving for what he has. But I would like to point that out on there, and that's all I have to say. I think I did enough.
All right, thank you very much. Councilman Miller.
I can feel your frustration, Councilman Cryer. And one of the other things that our infamous legislature is thinking about doing is putting aside a $12 million fund to help illegal aliens be represented by law firms. One of the things that we worry about here, and our city attorney keeps an eye on us, is a gift of public funds. To me, to be able to give $12 million, make it available to private law firms to basically represent and sue the state seems like to me a gift of public funds, rather than take that $12 million and set up a bureau of the Attorney General's office or something. But to make that does that make sense? I don't know. I was just thinking about that, because we're always worrying about gifting public funds, and that seems to me like a gift. And that's $12 million that's not going to our road. So that's one of the things. It is so beautiful out right now. This was a tremendous wet year. There's water everywhere. If you come over Elk Hills as you drive down to Bakersfield, you just see ponds everywhere. It's unbelievable. And we all live here, and we all see that now. And Twitchell Reservoir on the way to the coast is almost completely full. And the wildflowers are out, but as you can see right now, we've had a few warm days, and it's starting to dry up. And hopefully we're going to have some rain this weekend that'll give some life back to those wildflowers. But I'm really concerned about this summer, and with all that tall grass, it's going to all be blackened by fire. So we hope that we can get through the season without that. And the other thing, before the mayor gets on it, pull your weeds now while you can, because they're drying up fast. Anyway, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Councilman Bryant.
Thank you, sir. You know what? I wanted to take a moment just to recognize a couple different groups of people. Last night, Taft Union High School hosted their honors night, and I'm sure there was upwards of $100,000 to $200,000 given away to local students. And the way I see it tying into what we do here is we give our time and efforts, in hopes of elevating the city of Taft on all fronts. And we do it in hopes that those kids that those folks are investing in will come back, inherit it better than we did, and then continue to use the education that they garnered to push it even farther forward. So I wanted to recognize and say congratulations to all the students who received awards last night. That's amazing. But on the flip side, somebody has to give that money. It's as few as class members getting together and say, hey, let's put together a scholarship fund. Let's throw $50 or $100 in there every year, see where it goes. Because believe me, that $300 or $400 will buy a set of books, or at least maybe one or two.
Yeah, maybe.
Right? But the folks, even then, who were able to invest and endow even larger amounts, I'm constantly amazed by their generosity, and I'm thankful because at one time I was a recipient of a lot of those scholarships. And I'm in the position I'm in today, which isn't much, but it's better than I probably could have been because of those people invested in me. And so I'm always thankful. And I just want to definitely say on behalf of me, and I'm sure on behalf of everyone up here, to the folks who divvy that money out, thank you. It was much appreciated, and congratulations. So the folks who received it, make sure that one day you're on the dais here, pushing the city forward after we leave it to you, hopefully in a better spot. The other thing, the mayor touched on things just being beautiful outside because of all the rain. That's absolutely the case. But somebody's got to maintain it, right? So, of course, it's on us individually, but I definitely want to definitely tell the city staff, and because of Mr. Jones' leadership with Public Works and all the different departments, those guys are out there busting their humps, keeping it clean. And believe me, a lot of small cities don't have the attention to detail that we do, and I'm very thankful for those folks for getting out there and keeping the streets clean. And also to Chief, to the PD, the ancillary sheriff's department, those out there keeping the streets clean in a not so literal way, but slightly more literal. We appreciate you guys. You guys are out there working hard. So thank you to you guys. The other thing, I definitely wanted to say, Barbara, if you would, see me after the meeting. I may have some ideas to help you guys fundraise. But I'd love to be a part of it. So, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem Hill.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no comments this evening.
Mr. Mayor, before you make your comments, and you brought up, Mr. Bryant brought up about the maintenance department. I live off the rails to trails between Church Street and Hilliard, and somebody came through there one night and kicked out every single pop-up water. What do you call them?
Sprinkler, yeah.
Sprinklers. $15 a pop. There was 30 of them. They kicked every one of them out. Plus, so we had not only loss of water, we had the cost of repairing all those sprinklers, which took about 8 hours to go through, to have to test, readjust. And for somebody just to go along and kick sprinklers out, it's just unbelievable. But those are the kind of issues that the city faces all the time, the city crews face all the time, those kind of vandalism and damage. And so we just want people to keep a watch out. If you see somebody suspiciously doing something, call it in. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You bet. And that is a shame because that's the people's money. It's one thing to work hard and save the people's money and invest it in infrastructure to benefit the people, and then to see it destroyed for somebody's cheap thrill is disheartening, sickening. It's shameful to think that there are people out there that get their kicks doing that. Can't believe it. I'm going to expand just a little bit on what Councilman Cryer said regarding the proposed gasoline tax coming out of the governor's office. Our Assemblyman, Vince Fong, also has an alternative, and he has introduced legislation regarding that alternative, and that is to spend the people's money that is collected for infrastructure on infrastructure. We have already paid these funds, people. These funds have been collected. They have been misused and misappropriated and then declared an emergency and stuffed in the general fund and distributed. And then when we had a couple years where we had a surplus, the repayment of those was not put on that budget. Now, if you borrow money and then you find yourself in a position where you have extra money, you would think it would be incumbent upon you to pay that back. But that doesn't happen in state government, especially this state. And also, we pay extremely high taxes already. We also pay sales taxes on excise taxes. Did you know, everybody knows what sales tax rates are, which is 7.5%, right? Do you know that sales tax on diesel is about 10%? Didn't tell you that, did they? Of course they didn't. Well, the state did that on purpose because the average individual drives an automobile that burns gasoline. Not that many burn diesel fuel, and they figured that they could levy a greater portion of those taxes on business and commerce, which that's the way we do things in the state of California because California is unbusiness friendly. We divide and conquer. As long as I promise to burn your neighbor a little bit more than I burn you, I can count on your vote. That's the way it works in Sacramento, and that is a shame. Those people are supposed to represent your best interest, and you are being lied to. It was another issue came up not too long ago. I think about a month ago, there were three escapees from Camp Snoopy out there at the federal prison. And I was interviewed by the Bakersfield News. And the individual who did the interview kept wanting me to say that I was deathly afraid that these escapees were going to come into the community and commit crimes and victimize the people of the city of Taft. And as much as I hate to see them walking off, I told the young man that interviewed me for the news that those people prearranged to have a ride waiting for them when they walk out of Camp Snoopy. They jump in that vehicle, and fast as they can possibly get there, they are headed due south towards San Diego or beyond. The last thing I'm going to do is come into our community and commit crimes. But I also told that young man, that news reporter, investigative news reporter, if you're worried about the people of the communities in Taft, California, why don't you do a story on the fact that they just pushed Prop 57, lied to the people, it got approved, and basically it's going to let some 9,500 plus convicted felons, and a lot of them violent felons, out of prison early in communities all up and down the state of California. There's another one of the fine pieces of legislation and work that has been done by the state of California. Now, they'll say, well, it's a proposition. The voters approved it. They approved it because they were misled. And they have been misled time and time again by the state of California, just as they are regarding the tax on the fuel. People, you have paid that money. Monies pouring out of coffers in every municipality in the state of California are going to service unfunded liability debt in CalPERS. And I will tell you that, and that is the truth. That is not the reason for every single shortcoming in the state, but it is a reason for the vast majority of it. And I'd be happy to tell you the facts regarding that because I've been working on this for 13 years. But that is a fact. That's where your money's going. You've already paid it. Now you're paying it again at the pump. And that is a shame. You're being lied to, and it makes me sick when government does that. So I'll quit going on about that. But like I say, our legislator, Vince Fong, has an alternative. And the alternative is, why not put the money that all you people already put in there toward the roads? We are rated 48th in the nation for our infrastructure in the Golden State. Pretty sad state of affairs. All right, that's all I have for this evening. We could talk about this for quite some time. But we'll go on. Next up, Planning Commission report. Do we have a Planning Commission report? Yes, we do.
Well, we had 3 items up
Would you
on...
introduce yourself?
I'm sorry. Jerry Livingston, Planning Commissioner.
Not everybody knows you.
Mayor Knorr. No, but they all know my mom. So, we had 3 items on the agenda. Mayor Knorr was a guest for the evening. We saw a presentation for a conditional use permit by Clean Global Energy. They're doing an R&D facility out on Black Gold Court where they're going to be developing a low heat, low pressure separation system for heavy crude oil in order to get liquid asphalt and a lighter crude out of it. The goal, of course, is to build a system that then can be also basically delivered anywhere somebody wants it. They're going to sit out on pads concrete pads out along Black Gold Court. So the approval came from the Planning Commission. There are a few items that the group needs to clean up. One is to deal with a possible issue related to airport land use, and the other really is the Air Board. Neither one the company sees as a significant problem. The good news about it is that it's going to generate at least 20 jobs, and they've made a commitment to hire for some of those jobs here in Taft. Some of them are already people they have in Bakersfield who will be coming over. The other 2 items on the agenda were amendments to the Planning Commission. This is again coming out of our litigation with the Sierra Club and the settlement. So it's reflecting changes to land use. A couple of other areas, the staff took the opportunity to amend land uses as well in order to identify better land use choices for certain areas within the city. And then the final item is adoption of a clean climate action plan. I always want to say clean air. I don't know why. The climate action plan. Both of those will be coming to the council for approval, I think, next meeting. And the climate action plan, it has its roots all the way back in dealing with the Paris Accords, and maybe even further back. The idea of AB 32, I think, and maybe, I forget, SB 375, right? The idea, of course, is to develop plans within the community that will address air quality related issues. I'm a little bit suspect of how effective it'll be, but it's one of those things we're required to do, so it'll be coming to you folks in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Appreciate your report. Next up, department reports. Item number 5. Do we have any department reports this evening? Seeing none, we'll move forward. City manager statements.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no statement tonight.
All right. City attorney statements.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No statement.
No statement. All right. Future agenda requests from the council. Do we have any future agenda requests this evening?
We do not. No, sir.
None? Okay, then moving forward. We have the consent calendar, items 9 through 15. All items listed on the consent calendar shall be considered routine and will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the City Council requests specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Any item removed from the consent calendar will be considered after the regular business items. Are there any items on the consent calendar that any member of the public would like to comment on? Seeing none, are there any items on the consent calendar that any member of the council would like to remove?
Number 14, please.
You got to read them first. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll read them first then.
Okay.
I beg your pardon. I was on the
Yeah, I know. Bring this up.
Okay, consent calendar items 9 through 15. First off, we're number 9, the minutes of March 21st, 2017, regular meeting. Item number 10, payment of bills, some $555,000 worth of bills. Item number 11, the treasurer's report, where the recommendation is a motion to receive and file the treasurer's report dated March 15th, 2017 for the month of December 2016 and March 29th, 2017 for the month of January 2017. Item number 12, zoning ordinance amendment number 2017-01, accessory dwelling units. Recommendation is to approve a motion and amend the City of Taft Municipal Code entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Taft approving zoning ordinance amendment number 2017-01, an amendment of section 6-12-22 of Title 6 of the Taft Municipal Code regarding accessory dwelling units. Number 13, authorizing by resolution federal funding under Federal Transit Administration, FTA, Section 5339 in the amount of $163,300. And the recommendation there is a motion to adopt a resolution entitled Resolution of City Council of the City of Taft authorizing federal funding under FTA Section 5339, 49 USC Section 5339 with California Department of Transportation. Item 14, professional service agreement with Marcius, Ginny, and O'Connell LLP, cannabis consulting firm. That's to approve a professional service agreement for an amount not to exceed $21,700 for the 4 phases of work as outlined in the proposal. And then finally, item number 15, wastewater treatment plant maintenance project notice of completion. Recommendation there is a motion to approve the notice of completion for the wastewater treatment plant maintenance project. Now then,
Amen on that.
are there any items that need to be removed?
Number 14, please.
Number 14. Are there any other items?
I need to abstain on item number 9, minutes, as I was not in attendance.
Okay. Any more? None. All right. In that case, at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve consent calendar items 9 with 1 abstention, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 15.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a pair of seconds. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Miller,
Yes, except for abstention on item number 9.
Councilmember Cryer,
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hill,
Yes.
and Mayor North.
Yes, thank you. That's approved on a 5-0/4-0 vote. Next item on the agenda, item number 14, professional service agreement with Macias, Genie, and O'Connell LLP, MGO, cannabis consulting firm. Councilmember Bryant, you asked that we remove this.
Yes, sir. You know what? I wanted to make sure we pulled this off there because it's obviously been a...
I'm sorry, you need to have the city manager read it.
Yes, please, if you could read his report first.
Oh, yes, that's right. Doggone. Details.
I don't want
If you
to
would,
be
please.
mayor, but
Actually, you've been doing a great job.
procedure.
He's the one who missed his chance to speak.
Okay.
Okay, the Taft City Council conducted a study session on March 21st to begin consideration of the use of a professional service that specializes in new land use regulations for state licensed medical and recreational marijuana businesses activities as new state laws go into effect January 1st, 2018. The proposal from MGO outlines 4 phases of work to be completed, which include ordinance review and framework package, cannabis economic survey and revenue model, application and permitting platform and program outline, and regulatory cost and recovery analysis.
Thank you very much, City Manager Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, the reason I wanted to pull this off there was just to make sure we're very, very clear with the folks who may or may not be watching this at home, who may or may not have read the entire agenda. This is obviously a hot button issue, at least relatively for the city of Taft. I know we've got a lot of feedback on both sides as we start to tread some very interesting new waters courtesy of the state of California. But what I want to make sure we're very clear on is that this is neither pro or for or against cannabis in any form. This is simply us starting to tread into those waters that are going to protect the city and the citizens of Taft from risk of loss, future liability, and in all intents and purposes to show potential of ways that we can leverage this within the scope of the law should we choose to go down that road or allow that. But I think it's very important that we let the folks know this is not us saying, yes, we're for it, no, we're against it. It's us making sure we're compliant with state law and we're not putting the citizens of Taft at any further or unnecessary risk of loss. So that's all I had.
All right, thank you very much. Any further clarification by the council regarding this issue?
No. Simply stated is that the law was proposition was passed, and we're kind of forced to make a decision to address that new proposition and protect the city. That's all it is. It's real simple. We're trying to be ahead of the game.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve a professional service agreement with MGO LLC for an amount not to exceed $21,700 for the 4 phases of work as outlined in the proposal.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? None? May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Cryer,
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hill,
Yes.
and Mayor Norn.
Yes, that passes on a 5-0 vote. Thank you very much. All right, that concludes our regular session. We are going to go into closed session for 2 items. Item number A, conference with labor negotiator Craig Jones, City Manager, Government Code Section 54957.6, all units. And item B, conference with real property negotiator Craig Jones, City Manager, Government Code Section 54956.8, 201 Supply Road, Taft, California, 93268. Thank you very much.